I mean, arguably, you could have gone about that a better way. And I don't mean Machu, actually. I mean the parent. I want to swim on Earth. Okay, well, what's a career that we can get you to get there? Right? You work with them. Don't become oppositional. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are here with GQuuuuuX, episode 6, I believe we're on today.
Yep.
The plot to assassinate Kycilia.
Halfway through the season.
Yeah, assumedly. Oh yeah, the season, sorry. I was talking about I was thinking the series. Because it could be...
I'm sure. Just one 12-episode season, show.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, the first Witch from Mercury was 12, and I don't know that we knew there was going to be a second. They said season, and then they said core. So they turned it into a 2-core instead of a 2-season. So, yeah, I mean, don't know. I think they're establishing a lot here that would be way too much to try and get into one season. I feel like there's gotta be either a second core or a second season. Also, you gotta be looking at, the money you're making.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. Actually, Witch from Mercury was one of the highest grossing Gundam series in modern memory, and they were fine at 24.
Probably making a movie or something, or behind the scenes, or...
I mean, come on. If they're gonna make a movie, it's gonna be a compilation movie.
True.
Well, yeah, because also, as I said, very... Sorry, the word lament came into my head, and I couldn't really figure out how to put it into the sentence I was trying to say. With much lament, I was very sad at the end of Witch from Mercury, because very specifically, they do a time jump, and then they even text scroll, thus ends the story of the Witch from Mercury. And it's like, oh, god damn it. You didn't have to do that. You could have left yourself an open door. Alright, well, we come with the board, and with the board comes the board changelog, where I have added Miguel Gaia, Ortega, and Mash. Connected all 3 of them together with a green line for past relations. Connected the 3 of them to McQueeve for the insinuated connection made there, too. Added Train Guy and his and then I connected him to Xavier with a green line. I added new type to the description of everyone implied to be a new type so far, leaving out my theory from the OG Gundam series that Dozle was a new type. Connected Kycilia to Chalia with a red line due to Train Guy's words. Tied him with a green line to Kycilia under the impression that he's a member of the aforementioned special service. Added a purple arrow from Machu to Shuji. Added a white line between Machu and Xavier. Connected Ortega and Miguel to Nyan and Shuji with a red line. Connected Miguel, I wrote Haya, I must have meant Gaia, and Mash to Kycilia with a green line, as per the Dom Masters line. And added Simas Al Bakarov, ? To the mentions field.
I don't remember Simas?
I have a note about it. I have a note about it, so it's better for me to just wait for the note to explain than to bring it up on the board.
Sounds familiar. It's like, oh, sorry, what's that name?
Well, remember that the mentions area is specifically for mentions of characters that we... Well, so far, I'm not going to label it as that. So far, it is for mentions of characters that we know from other shows.
Yeah.
I guess there could be at some point where someone's going to say, but what about blah, 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 and it would be a character from a show either we'd never seen yet, or just a character from this show that has not been on screen. That hasn't happened yet, that they've mentioned a character on this show that hasn't been visually seen yet, but I'm not going to bring it out of the realm of possibility that could happen, in which case they would end up mentioned.
It seemed to click when I was listening to it again, but I was like, that's I mean, it could be any Simus, so it's like...
That's what I said. It's like, I have a note about it, just in case, to explain it to anybody who's like, sorry, it's just a phrase that's stuck in my head now, ripping their dick off about this.
That sounds so painful.
I don't know. I guess maybe I've been watching too much gameplay videos in the background while I've been organizing boards and whatnot, or all these polls for shows. to date this, the poll for 8th MS Team and MS Igloo is currently up, and I just put up a poll for Voltace 5.
Oh, there you have it. Let me see. Any changes that not really. I should have said that, and I'm just gonna say it now. When they mention Ortega, the pronunciation is spot on. They're supposed to be Japanese. Like, oh, that's nice.
Anyway, notes. I believe I have more. As per our rules, that means I go first. So the mirrors we saw at the start of the episode were being used as the heat source for the centrifugal furnace. The subtitle's listed as a solar furnace. We see it being aimed like the solar system used during the attack on Solomon at the back half of the Azuma colony to heat said furnace. What is it for, though, I wonder? Is it recycling the waste of the 1 Year War's remains? Or is it trash cleanup? Like I mentioned with the dead Minovsky particle swarms that are treated like space storms and break down communications, the implication in this series is that the area around Earth is just a total mess that is still being cleaned up 5 years later. Miguel mentions the junk trade-in price, so I have to believe it is being used outwardly for cleanup, and that Zeon is going to be buying it all up. But that last part is being presented as rumor, so I don't know.
I mean, if people are gearing up for a civil war in Zeon, then sides might be arming.
Well, no, the implication is that Zeon is buying it up. So it's hard to tell if a specific side is arming themselves, if the subtext that we're getting is that the nation is buying it. Because at that point, that's internal dynamics that we're not privy to at the moment because we don't. Kycilia is our Zeon point of view character there, except for maybe Train Guy. And again, only rumor. Miguel, no longer in the service, is saying word is on the street, and that's not always right.
To my first note, then, episode 5, Neon doesn't know about Kira Kira. So the TriStars got kicked out of the Zeon military by my quux. I guess they didn't.
People try to correct me on how it's pronounced, and I don't give a shit. It's McQueen for the rest of my life.
I guess it didn't fit Kycilia's vision of the future. Whatever that may be.
It's an odd take. Kycilia apparently really liked them, the Dom Masters. At the same time, McQueen, hot for Kycilia. So it's weird that he would go against her wishes, if that was the case, to boot them out of the service. So either implying that Kycilia isn't actually as a fan of them as they would like us to think, or that McQueen decided, I'm going to put my foot down this one time.
I mean, it could be a situation of, it's not the queen, it's the attendants kind of situation. Like, you don't go after, if you believe the leader is, perfect, you don't blame the leader, you blame the people around them. It's like, it's easier to blame McQueen. On the other hand, it could be that McQueen was just simply in charge of demobilizing a lot of the Zeon military. They just got caught up in it, and they're like, this is the guy who demobilized,
I hope we get to this episode, and McQueen is married to Kycilia. My boy deserves a win, especially after Tamino thought he was so inconsequential as to not even see his death happen.
I don't see it. I think he's always going to be simping for Kycilia. Kycilia's like, yeah, whatever.
I think Kycilia was good for him. I don't mean that in I think they would work well together. I think, she went out to find him for the first time around, and then they were just, hanging around the battlefield together. There's no show that she was only there to oversee events. That's literally what he's there for. She went to find him to get him on this job. I don't think she needs direct oversight over him. But she chooses to keep visiting. And at the same time, he's like, this is the most expensive item I own. Make sure this gets to Kycilia. She would love this. So, I think there's something there. Not just one-sided, I mean. Alright, my next one is the translation of the MASH thing that was Ortega. Ortega was showing Miguel, I think.
Yeah.
It's either Ortega was showing Miguel or Miguel was showing Ortega. I can't remember. Mayor Mash having an affair with his beautiful secretary. PR shot 0085, June 11th, 7 a.m. This is a scandal for Mayor Mash of the city that is also famous for the 1 Year War and known as the Black Tri-Stars, quotation marks. It is still a former Zeon ace pilot. After retiring, he made the most of his name, fresh in our memory, that Mash won the Usan mayoral election. After being elected, he described his own attitude as extreme, and it became big news when he rejected the conservatives who had been ruling the colony. He was riding the wave of the current, but he got a little too excited. The leak, it became big news. The leak news site, Purple, reported the allegations of an affair between him and his wife. There was 2 pictures. Primary picture of Mash walking with his secretary has the quote, Mayor Mash walking hand in hand with his secretary. He looks so confident, it's hard to believe he's married. And then the second picture was down on the side. Secondary picture of Mash kissing his secretary. The truth was revealed, and it was revealed that he was self-righteous in his decision to appoint secretaries, and it seems like it goes off like there's more. So Mash got married, got elected, has an affair.
Yeah.
Also, more pointedly, still alive.
He's just mashing his way through the city, I guess.
I'll just type actually, I have a 1-sentence note here. I'm just attached to this because it's about Mash too. If memory serves, Mash was the first to die in the OG timeline. So kind of funny that he is the only survivor this time.
That's just Masher. Okay, to my note. What is the market for PMCs in the post-war period? Unless there are conflicts still going on in the colonies or on Earth. In other words,
hire a mercenary to defend your refugee camp from the Side 6 police force.
I don't think that would be legal.
Well, no, but most PMCs don't operate in legal territory. Like, the PMC itself is legal. The shit that they do, not so much.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to be in a position where you like, oh, these guys work for the PMC. Where's the headquarters of the PMC? It's over there. Okay, let's shut it down, right? Usually you work with the wink and nod of the government to do something else.
No, I'm saying that they would, go to the refugee camp and then do some subversive shit to combat the crackdown of Side 6 classism. Oh, yeah, and I got a future note about that shit, too. To not identify themselves as a PMC. Like I said, the PMC itself is a legal organization. The shit that they do, they don't want their operators to be known. Like I said, that is...
Yeah, unless...
Except, I think the example falls apart because refugees aren't going to be able to hire them. They don't have the ability to. That's why they're in that position to begin. Well, that's not why, but that is a contributing factor to why they're in that position to begin with. Also, why are you bringing up PMC specifically?
Because Ortega and
they say become mercenaries. They don't say become.
No, they want to join a PMC. We should join one of the top PMCs. I was like, okay.
No, maybe you're referring to a line I don't remember. I remember very specifically he said, let's become mercenaries. I don't remember.
Yeah, but if they become mercenaries, who would hire them? This is peacetime, right?
I don't know, the
word have something to do.
The word escaped me the moment I wanted to say it. Free agents. They become free agents.
I mean, I'm not saying that they would be free agents. It's just that what kind of work would they get? No.
I know that's a question you've been asking. I haven't gotten to that yet. It's the element that you said, who would they, you literally just asked a second ago, what would they be? And I said free agents, because you don't have to join PMC if you're already doing illegal shit anyway. Clan battle's illegal. They're still doing it. Yeah. So, what would they do? I already answered that question, actually. Like, you can...
Yeah, we said the refugees, I don't think that
Well, it's whoever would hire you. That's the thing. That's what the mercenary work is about. It's just whoever would hire work is, literally, every episode of MacGyver is essentially mercenary work.
Yeah, but that's because you have kind of conflicts that would necessitate MacGyver do a thing.
Literally, quite literally, 2 notes ago, you were talking about a Zeon conflict.
Oh,
that
yeah,
might be
that could be a
building, and you know
possibility.
what? Having
But
outside forces that they don't expect, instead of having a full-on civil war, let's hire some couple PMCs to cause chaos.
okay. Here's the thing. That's a possibility. We don't know if it's actually happening.
Okay, look. I'm just saying anything is possible. You asked the question, what would they do? And I think literally anything either of us could think about is a possibility. Until we know the actual political situation, any building tensions or anywhere other than Side 6, of course, because we already know that that's the main build-up. It's all guesswork. Anything I'm going to say is valid. Anything you say, probably I say would be equally as valid.
I'm guessing that, we know that there have been guerrillas on Earth and everything else, that while the Federation has been defeated, they might still be in fighting on Earth, right? And Sion is like, people are like, we're not going to take care of that. That's your problem. It's like, okay, well, let's hire these PMCs. We have all these soldiers on the Federation and the Sion side that are, unemployed.
I don't think that's going to be the thing. I'm not saying it's invalid. Obviously, I just said anything you could say would be valid. I just don't think that's going to be the focus, because obviously we're dealing with the tension buildup on Side 6 and the Sion presence and all the people in the streets with signs. I know the plan is to go to Earth, and we keep going over how we're going to get there. But it feels like if there's going to be an outbreak of something, it's going to be here. Also, not for nothing, they're dead. Seeing what they may or may not do is really inconsequential.
I mean, I'm talking about PMCs and mercenaries in general.
Yeah. I'm just saying from the point of view that I think it's if the only mercenary characters that we have so far are dead, then it kind of takes it off the table. Unless they introduce new mercenary characters.
I mean, we did see Dormitory PMC also security company show up in the last episode.
So. Yeah. But we don't know what they actually do. You just said PMC out of nowhere. They didn't self-identify as a PMC.
I think it was in the security, dormitory security something also.
Dormitory security group. That's all I've written down for them.
Which sounds very much like a PMC title name.
I don't know. It could be a private military. That would be what you were talking about. Sorry. You kept saying PMC. It's in my head. They just could be a private security group. In a world where security requires mobile suits, it might not be a mercenary type deal. It could just be literally, hey, hire us and we'll put a mobile suit outside of your business to make sure things stay kosher.
Your next note then.
So did McQueeve just kick the Black Tri-Stars out of the military, or was it some part of a greater purge? Famously, he wasn't too pleased with them in the original timeline, but then they essentially got themselves killed, so problem handled on his end. This time around, they did what? Went to Loom, were successful in capturing Rebel. Maybe they were sent with McQueeve on his all-out attack that we saw happening in this timeline, and that was just the last straw for him. They claim their problem was that the Gundam stole all their glory, but that just follows on their MO of blaming Char for always being in their way. It's just this time, Char and the Gundam are synonymous.
Yeah, I think it could be just that they are general demobilization, right? Keeping a military around is expensive, especially in peacetime. So, and you're moving to new kit. It's like, oh, we got to make cuts. You guys, oh, never mind. You're done. We're done with you. Out the door.
Again, we don't have any view of the greater political situation or military developments or whatnot, so it's hard to tell.
So Kycilia doesn't trust Chila Bull, and that puts him in a collision course with Savior. Or maybe he was a plan on the ship all along. But then she must know that it was Savior's fault that the Gundam was taken. He left the cockpit open after all. And Kycilia is not known for tolerating mistakes like that, however unintentional they may be.
We have no notice on what she knows about Xavier at all. The subtext from Train Guy to Savior is mostly just about Kycilia.
Yeah, but the fact that she would reach out to him?
I don't know if they're reaching out at all. I think he might just be an agent of Zeon that Xavier's making contact with.
But why not make that contact through official channels, though?
I think it is an official channel. I think it's literally, we're doing like spycraft sort of shit here. He's
That's
trying to
not
get
official
information.
channels.
It is official channels if you're an operator of Xeon.
Official channels would be going through the going through his commander to him, etc., or just sending him a message directly. You don't do a meetup, a train meetup to go official channels. You're bypassing official channels because you don't want other people to know. You don't want Chila Bull to know. You don't want the crew of the Green Base to know. You also don't want the locals to know. That's why you have a meetup like
That's
that.
why
Like
it's clandestine. You don't want the locals to know. He's a Xeon operative embedded in Side 6 territory.
It's not official channel.
That is official channels. That's official channel for Xeon. He is on the ground.
Do you understand what an official channel is?
Okay, here's this thing.
Let me rephrase.
Here's my thing. If we form a flow chart of an organizational tree, right? Train guy is still a Xeon operative, and he's a point to be made contact with to send messages back to Xeon Command. He is an official member of the Xeon forces. Therefore, messages sent through him are still an official channel. If you're a spy in the field and you need to make contact, the person that you're making contact from your organization is an official contact. Xavier is on the ground talking to people throughout Side 6, trying to get information about the GQuuuuuX, find out where it is, how to get it back. Essentially, he is doing reconnaissance work considerably in enemy territory, and he's reaching out to a Xeon contact. That is an official channel. He's not going behind anyone's back to like, oh, I'm going to, get behind Kycilia Bull's back and whatnot. He apparently cannot reach out to his command ship while he's on the ground trying to do, reconnaissance work. So he's reaching out to Xeon members on the field. That is my point of view of why it's an official channel. This isn't just some guy who he's contacting. This is a man in the field who he can get messages back through.
Okay. The thing about official channels would be pretty open, right? It would be chain of command, or he would be called into an office like, okay, you got to come in and we got to talk to you, etc. It wouldn't be the very nature of being clandestine means that it's not official channels. He's bypassing official channels in order to get this information back and forth.
I think we have two different definitions of clandestine going on here. Clandestine just means hidden. We're not hiding it from Kycilia. We're hiding it from Side 6. I think that's what's going on here. That for some reason, he is not able to contact his own command ship. And he is going with whatever Xeon operatives are in the field. Technically, he is reporting back to somebody who then can send the message on its way.
We have no proof that he has no way of contacting his own ship.
I think the conversation is the proof. It's either this or it's the other way around, that Kycilia is sending messages to him, in which case it's not what you're saying. Xavier isn't going over his head. He's not sending clandestine messages. Kycilia is sending messages to him, in which case that's not clandestine as per your commander's argument, which is to say that Kycilia is in charge of him regardless of Kycilia.
Only if he is an agent, not of Xeon in general.
We are unaware of Kycilia's actual position in the government at the moment. Technically, you consider her ruling family, in which case she is in charge of everybody no matter what.
Yeah, but again, you have the chain of command for a very good reason. So if she is part of the ruling, she just sends a message down the pipeline and gets to Kycilia Bull, and Kycilia Bull get to someone on the ship. And not even Kycilia Bull, just the ship itself. You don't have to be specific to him. They're like, yeah, tell that guy this. It's like, okay, here you go. Here's the information. That's it. That would be official channel. If he doesn't want anybody else to know about this, that's who you will have a clandestine meeting. Because that's the point. You want to
I find the position that what he is in on Side 6 to be indicative of why he is unable to communicate to Kycilia. I don't think he would have a clandestine. If this is from the position of if Xavier is the one that set this up to then get messages back and forth. If that was the case, I think the fact that it shows up at all is indicative of the fact that he can't get messages directly to Kycilia. There's also the element that Kycilia seems to be unhappy with him for whatever reason.
Yeah, it basically says that he let him go and to do his own thing, which doesn't preclude the fact that he could just come back and say, yes, sir, this is what I found. Unless he doesn't want to,
I'm using the information at hand and not trying to make up new information. The information at hand is that Xavier is talking to a guy on a train who seems to be Xeon from the perspective of he has information that it feels like only a Xeon person could have. And why wouldn't Xavier contact his ship to report back, if not for the fact that maybe he can't? I guess in that aspect, maybe I am making up information. But that seems to be, if like you expect Sherlock Holmes to figure something out, he's going to go with what's the closest direct path to a explanation here. And I feel like, well, everything we've seen, it seems to indicate that Xavier would just report back to the ship. So if he's not, maybe he can't. What's preventing him from doing so?
I think he doesn't want to, though.
Well, we haven't seen any motivation from him to say, why not? Like, why wouldn't he want to?
I think he wants to solve this by himself because he feels, that's a personal opinion, not much evidence. He wants to solve this because he feels like the GQuuuuuX is his personal responsibility. But that's just my take on it.
I mean, I'm basing my opinion on the opening sequence. I think him and Harcourt are going to have a romance thing. So him separating from the ship feels like a weird take. From the perspective, it seems like him and her are like in the opening together in the same way that we like see Nian and Machu being paired together in the opening and ending. And also, she's literally thinking about him in the show.
Romantic triangle, because there's also Shinju is there as well.
No, sorry. I was talking about Harcourt and Xavier still.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, to my next point then. Poor Shuji dying of a high fever due to a bad cold, and the girls think he's just being sexy and trying to, and then they try to outdo each other.
Well, he's not dying.
I
don't think he's anything. Well, yeah. Well, I literally have a whole note. Let me just skip ahead. I don't think
he's not dying, but he's feeling pretty bad. He's like kind of out of it,
Shuji's fever is 38.9 degrees Celsius or 102.02 degrees Fahrenheit, which is considered a moderate grade fever, which requires attention if it's gone on for a number of days. This is the first time we've seen Shuji sick, so I think he's still fine, just needs some rest.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's dying, but I say that both of them misunderstood what he was going on with him. It's like, oh, I need some cold. And you're like, oh, well, let me take my clothes off because it's, like.
No, I know. I just I wrote a whole note about it.
The situation. It's so funny. It was like, yeah.
Well, because once we still don't have a name for the box robot, popped open and read his temperature, it's like, oh, okay, well, that's something I need to pay attention to. Let's see what that actually is. And it's like, well, it's 2 degrees above where I would start being concerned, but according to, the internet, be more concerned if it's a couple of days of that. Well, of course, it says actually, if he was like 0.98 degrees hotter, be concerned.
Yeah. Because Celsius does jump pretty high.
Well, yeah, no, I'm basing on Fahrenheit because it's the one that I know, which is to say it's the one that I know in human temperature. I don't claim to know measurements at all at any point.
To your next point, then.
So Side 6 has an extremely militant and well-armed police force that is willing to tear through refugee camps with multi-ton weapons of war. But even they don't keep good tracking on how many unregistered mobile suits are in their airspace. Kycilia indicates that they've requested to be the remedy to that problem, and Harcourt wonders if Xavier has become a nuisance to him. Made all the more confusing since I take my notes in English. And in English, she pronounces his name as Exave, even though in English it's spelled Xavier. Anyways, she thinks that, and Kycilia responds that he's a new type and will be fine, making me wonder if he was reading her thoughts like we discussed in the OG series. Because again, she only thinks these things about Xavier, or Exave. But literally, that's how she says it. I went back a couple of times, like, what's she talking about? Exave. Oh, Xavier, what the fuck?
I guess Xavier's too excited for her.
I don't know. Maybe they got different notes.
Can I say about this? Not really much. I mean,
I think mostly leaning into, well, I think I have a future note about it too, but the Chalia Bull's new type power being sort of telepathy.
Yeah.
As per the, not speech, but the discussion that Gurren has with him in the OG.
Yeah, it's dangerous to read other people's minds, blah, blah, blah. And he says, I wouldn't think of it. Or something. No. Chila's Bull says, it's dangerous to read other people's minds. And Gurren goes like, well, that's a very good piece of advice.
Well, then you get that in reverse.
Did I?
Well, you said Gurren says that's a pretty good piece of advice, as though Chalia Bull gave him that advice. And Gurren doesn't have that power, so it would be useless advice if Gurren said that.
No, I mean, the idea is that basically...
No, I'm indicating that you said Chalia Bull said don't read people's minds, and Gurren was like, that's good advice, and I'm saying I think you got the people backwards. Gurren said don't read people's minds, and Chalia was like, that's good advice.
Either way.
Well, not either way. Literally that one specific way. That's the correcting note that I'm giving you.
I would have to go back and watch it, because I think there's a reason why it's in that order.
Well, no, that was literally the note that I'm making. Well, actually, I have a future note about it, but that's the note that I'm saying, is that Gurren is the one that warned him against reading his superiors' minds, and Chalia is the one that says, okay, yeah.
Okay. Either way, I would have to go back and see what was that all about. Your note? No, that was your note. My next note. Macho gets points for standing up to the cops for her friend, but she loses points for putting herself and Yan in danger with those same cops, who, by the way, are already looking for Yan for trafficking stolen goods.
I don't know if they're looking for her specifically.
Somebody matching the description. They were literally pursuing her to get her back.
In episode 1.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're pursuing her this time, though. Although, again, it could be classism. They could just be pursuing all refugees. What are you doing outside your zone? So, Train Guy suggests that Kycilia believes that Chalia had something to do with the Gundam going missing and warns Xavier not to trust Chalia. What if this version of Chalia never got warned by Gurren not to listen in on the thoughts of others, or took Gurren's cryptic advice to heart and used it to the best of his abilities against Kycilia in a way that didn't make him a target?
I mean, how would you know?
In the movie What Women Want, Mel Gibson... The only reason Mel Gibson got found out is because he told people that he was doing it. If Chalia is just maneuvering politically by reading the minds and not doing anything too obvious, I always think back to the one Futurama episode where Bender talks to God, and God says, if you're doing everything right, no one will know you're even there.
Yeah. Like you're not there at all. That's a possibility. But would he have... I mean, he's in Green Bay, so how many opportunities do we have to read people's minds in the higher command?
Assuming, well, we don't even have to assume, from episode 2 of this show, we know that he gets linked up with Char, which implies that the Gurren meeting still happened, which in case he's being put into a position where he'd be also under Kycilia at some point. So he has all these opportunities. And remember, it was only 5 years ago, but it was still during the 1 year war where literally everybody essentially gets fast-tracked through everything.
It also would explain, we were considering that he might be sent to assassinate, this video. We're going to watch a new episode, which might prove that assumption was true. But again, might not never been that his mission to kill Kycilia. His mission would have been to spy on her, right, for Gurren. But then why would he have gone out to basically commit suicide mission against the Gundam? Well, the thing.
I mean, it's another prescient new type on the field where he only has new types on his own side. So,
yeah.
So with this Federation new type about.
But he went alone.
You wouldn't have that this time around.
Yeah.
And Amuro, I guess, is supposed to be a powerful new type or something, so all he had to experience was Char, and now he's obsessed with Char, so seems to fit.
And now we are stuck in the locker scene, the setting up the Clark Superman scene. Where Clark is in one place and people think, oh, you must be Superman, and Superman appears somewhere else. Like, oh, you can't be Superman because you're here, Clark Kent. Over there, Superman. So basically the same thing. It wasn't planned that way. Only usually Superman kind of plans it out. just so he doesn't get find out. But here's like, oh, sure, there's someone else.
Another clue into the cost of things: a 10 hit coin to wash 14 kilograms of clothes for 20 minutes, and 3 height to store your luggage for 6 hours.
So around $10.
We have a comment about that later.
Oh, somebody said it was equal to USD in an earlier comment.
Yeah, I would say, if you don't start recollecting comments, wait till we get to the comment section to talk about other comments too.
Let me get to my next note then. Haru unlocked the drive. Confirm. But how does Haru do that exactly?
I'm going to jump to a future note to address your one sentence.
Yeah. What 2 sentences?
What are the chances that neither Machu or Nyan are new types, and the new Saikamo system is one that create simulated new types when it is activated? The Haru turning it on makes them like new types. Xavier couldn't activate the system because he was already a new type. Remember that it's so experimental that that's the one thing Granada told them not to activate. I mean, on the other hand, Nyan makes a very new type statement saying that it's like the other time, and that when she focuses on things, they happen. I don't know. Just feels like something is up here.
That's getting close to spoiler territory right there. That's all I want to say about it.
And I'm not sure how. And I mean that by the fact that you told me already that you hadn't seen like anything after the 1 year war.
Yeah, but some details here and there have leaked over the decades. So yeah, I have some foreknowledge. Not very specific.
I told you lessons before every recording. I need you to smash your head against the wall a couple of times so you get a little dumber and more forgetful.
No. People in the comments know. If you people in the comments know, do not comment on this.
They already have. They already fucking have. The moment somebody says the word Zeta, I stop reading the fucking comment.
Either way, yeah. The problem with this series in particular is that it, I think, assumes or presumes, which I think in English is the same word or similar, that you watch all of Gundam up to this point, right?
Well, you don't need to be watching stuff up to 5 years after, which would be probably Zeta.
Yeah.
Well, I think the idea is that you're not going to be hindered for not having watched it. It's just not going to reward you. You know, I think I heard this term a lot with Picard. Remember berries?
Yeah.
Yeah, it rewards you for it. Like, I was thinking about it. Maybe I should suggest to Ray over at Our Nights to watch this because he started also watching OG Gundam. And it's like, I don't know what you would get out of it. Like, who's Chalia Bull, right? Like, is he just a guy who stands there at the window and says some cryptic shit every now and then if you don't know who he is to begin with?
Yeah.
You know, they mentioned Garma and Kycilia and Dozel, and it's like, well, I guess from at least Ray's perspective, I did get them to watch all 6 episodes of Origin, so they'd at least know those guys, but, you know, the Black Tri-Stars show up, and who the fuck are these guys?
Anyway, your note then.
So more evidence that Machu's upper class status versus everyone else. Nyan takes off her clothes, and we see them strewn next to her. Machu takes hers off, and it's all folded neatly beside her. Not least of which, she was also able to sign a layaway contract and put a deposit on it. She says it's because all they care about is the money, but I have to believe social standing had a hand in play. If Shuji had tried that, I have no doubt that he would have been rejected. Probably the reason she did it for them. Not great the way they treat refugees worse than second-class citizens. The way Machu spoke up with a "she's my friend" really rang true for a lot of different isms that deserve as many dick kicks as are necessary to remove that from society.
My next, second to last note. Balloon decoy also confirmed.
Yeah, I imagined you were going to bring that up again.
That's the note. That's it.
Okay. All right. I was right about all the clues about Highbury, a school for debutantes. I mean, it doesn't seem like Xavier is from here, so he must have heard about it from word of mouth on the street, which means that's how well known it is for him to be shocked by her going there.
I mean, it might.
I've
I
been
also
indicating
might
for a long
interest.
time now that Highbury is a wealthy school and that she is wealthy for having gone there, or her mother's high position in government indicates to her social status. But now Xavier, who isn't from here, who has just been investigating GQuuuuuuX by word of mouth on the street, has heard about it so much that he is shocked that she is from there.
I mean, the reputation of the school could go beyond Site 6. It could be just a place for all rich people, send their kids, right?
I mean, that
It's
only
like
makes my argument that much better.
Yeah,
That that's how
Harvard
well-to-do
or
she is. She's not from
yeah,
the local high-class colleges. She's from Harvard. She's from Cambridge,
yeah.
or whatever,
Oxford.
the all-women version of Harvard or Cambridge is.
There's a couple of them. Yeah, I used to know those names, and it doesn't matter. Not important right now. But there are a few in the States at least. And my last note. Now that Nian can also pilot the GQuuuuuuX, that means that Machu is not that unique.
Unless, of course, my theory is correct. In which case, anybody can pilot the GQuuuuuuX except for new types. Well, technically, if I'm being pedantic, anybody can pilot, even a new type. They just can't get full use of it.
No, I'm going to stop.
I'm talking about Xavier could pilot the thing. He just couldn't activate the Psychomo.
I mean, he did pilot it. He didn't.
That's what I'm saying. I said if I'm being pedantic, and piloting is the word that I used, not fully activated.
But he also didn't have the Haru, so the Haru was the one that unlocked it. So
I'm saying that in my theory that wouldn't matter. This is just a little thing. Clan Battle Team update. I had called them the Generis before, because again, Machu's broken phone. Also, point of fact, Xavier also has a broken phone. No, not Xavier, Ortega. Ortega's phone was also broken. Well, more broken now, actually. But,
Pulmonarians.
Say what?
That's her team, Pulmonarians. Right? Pulmonarians, yeah.
No, I'm talking about the Generis, which turns out not to be Generis, because again, that's my comment, is that Machu's broken phone made it translate to Generis. Turns out to be binaries.
Oh.
So, binaries is the Black Tri-Stars, Ortega and Miguel. CRS, the clan that we fought last episode. The Pomeranians, our characters, and the 4 Snake Eyes that we fought first. But we still have the 12 Olympians, Fried Martians, Fat Mav, and Golfstrom. Assuming that those are still right.
But I don't think their plan is not to wait until getting to top of the stars. They just get enough money to get on the flyer.
I think the 150 is for winning the overall thing. But otherwise, they must be, as you indicated before, winning minor amounts. Who the hell is Ortega even talking to? In a completely separate scene, Jezzy asks, "Is that even allowed?" And then the scene transitions over to Ortega saying, "Damn right it is." What's that context? What did Miguel say in that moment that aligned with anything else going on? These two have been partners for a long time now. Seems odd to think that Miguel would be asking questions all of a sudden. Because in the rest of the battle, they're calling out, jet stream attack. Let's do this. Let's do that. They're saying what they need to do. They're not asking questions. So that scene transition, well, a little bit funny, from a cross thing. Is Ortega on the call with Jezzy? What's going on? Is that the look? Maybe it's a humorous moment that is actually a subversive moment. Maybe Jezzy is so fucking pissed at Machu that they are working for the other team and they are on the line with them. God, if I could just get them eliminated, they'll see that she's not so great and I get my chance back in again.
But he's doing it in front of everybody else?
Oh, no, but see...
literally, they're watching the screen.
But if it's only one way, right? Okay, they're going to do this. Okay, I'm listening to them. They're going to do that. I don't know. But I understand. I'm just trying to make sense of the scene, right? Like, what is the other read? That it was just, fourth wall break?
Probably.
Which doesn't make sense because it hasn't happened anywhere else in the show. So who the hell is Ortega talking to? Is Ortega a new type? Never been indicated anymore in the OG.
Not anymore.
It doesn't matter if they are anymore. It's still a question I bring up. Like, again, I
also
mentioned on the board changelog that I did not list Dozel as a new type because that's still argumentative. But it's my opinion that Dozel is a new type.
My bad. Yeah, we don't get the Kira effect when he dies, so
Who? Ortega? I don't think you
Yeah.
need that every time somebody dies. We didn't get that with
You got it with the
Aga.
witch.
We didn't get it with Aga, and I believe Aga was a new type.
I mean, this show.
Yeah, I guess most of my examples come from the old show. I don't think we got that with Chalia or anything. With all the new, like, only person we got that with literally was Dozel in the OG show.
Yeah.
No, I mean in La
Oh,
La, of course.
and Lala, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, but among people that I'm arguing could be new types, Dozel got a La La. So I don't know how. Look, maybe I'm creating an argument where one doesn't exist because obviously I'm not looking into anything because I don't want to be spoiled. Like, I don't think I'm going to look up anything about Dozel. I guess I can't because he's got a fucking kid. And there's always the chance that the kid's going to come up in, like, a wiki article. And I don't want to know what happens with the kid until we get to the whatever happens to the kid. So I can't look it up. But I'm saying maybe the possibility exists that everybody on the internet, all agree that Dozel was a new type. And I'm, like, defending my stance where no defense is necessary. Guys, you're not going to believe it. Water is wet. I'm going to fight you. Water is wet. Dude, you're fine.
Well, I read one tweet from Lake Superior of all places. No, water is not wet. Whatever water touches becomes wet.
I would argue that it's a transitive property of the water.
True.
Neon and Shuji kind of came up with their own jet stream attack. Like, they weren't riding piggyback like Ortega and Miguel would have, but they were back to front, and moving in unison to perform a coordinated melee attack instead of a ranged one. Though, as Ortega points out, they went for the killing blows right off the bat, rather than match enders, showing off how bloodthirsty the team has gotten. Shuji, by default I guess, and Neon seeing this as an outlet for her rage. Even the Black Tri-Stars repeatedly went for incapacitating and shots to the head, which would have ended the fight without killing anyone, even after they thought the other team was aiming for their cockpits. Even with that degree of holding back, Neon still killed Ortega. Like, you have to take off the head thing to end the fight, and he's still going for that, even after they've tried to kill him, like slicing the thing open. So he's still holding back, and then she still fucking kills him. I honestly have no idea why Miguel died. Shuji took off the head of his dom, which would have taken him out of the fight by clan bat rules. But he exploded right after without anything else being done.
I mean, they did electrocute her a couple of times.
I'm talking about incapacitation, though. I think they were going for knocking her out. Essentially, they tased her.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They went for incapacitation and the normal clan battle rules for taking somebody out. They weren't trying to kill them, and even after they tried to kill them, they weren't trying to kill them. I still have again, Miguel, why did you fucking die? They took the head off. That's the sensor package. What in the head being gone caused him to explode? He wasn't hit anywhere else. Like, I went and rewatched it. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's just like completely undamaged Dom. Boom. No wonder we retired those things. It's even worse than the Zaku. Watch where you hit, it'll go nuclear. The Pinto of mobile suits.
Yeah.
Looks like Simus survived the war, assuming that Simus that they are talking about is Simus al-Bakarov, the one we saw testing the Bravo near the end of the OG show. The way the show wants to call back to the OG, it's the first thing I thought of. She's the one with glasses. We see in the fix the engines thing, and then she comes back later to co-pilot with Chalia.
And Chalia's alive, so...
Yeah, I know. I'm just indicating that I think that's who this is. To the same thing that when we talked about the board, you're like, that sounds familiar. I'm just now telling you who she is to remind you. No idea what a Kakaroga is, though. Doesn't sound familiar from any of the shows that we've watched so far. The fact he's calling for one suggests that it's a model still in commission, though, which means that it would be a new type of mobile suit made after the study of the Gundam.
But it's a strange name. Oh, then again, this is Gundam OG, or Gundam names are pretty weird anyway, so.
I don't know if it's strange or not. It's literally a Japanese name, so I have no context.
Is it?
It's
It's
a
just made up.
Japanese show. They invented all the names. I think you'll
I mean,
find that even the
yes.
made-up ones would be Japanese by that point because a Japanese person made it up. My last note. Machu expresses her possessive nature in full regard for Neon's status. Despite knowing that Neon is a refugee with nothing that has to constantly do transportation jobs and gets abused by Side 6 police, her main thought is, this was only for me and Shuji. Like I said, Machu isn't a good person. Well, beyond the fact that she seems to be the only person regretting killing people, that is.
Or feeding Chuji.
Do remember that she knocked his money into the waterway and said, hey, enter the clan battle. Not, hey, I come from a wealthy family. I could probably take anything from my house and it'd be worth all the money you have. Again, you were asking way back when, how would she get the money or anything like that? And it'd be like, that's probably number one. Probably anything in her room, her own possessions, would probably be as valuable.
How much money they had? Like 3,000?
She goes to fucking Harvard. You think I'm not going to be like, that rich asshole doesn't have money? He's going to Harvard. We're beyond the I couldn't get a loan to go to college. You're going to like one of the 5 best schools in the world. And to your thing, maybe it's like so well renowned because it's known outside of Side 6. You're going to one of the best schools in the solar system. I think you got money. This is like the premise of a heist movie. Not a heist movie, a kidnapping movie. We kidnapped you because you go to a famous school. Your family's got to have money.
Your family has money.
Yeah, you think she's buying all of her stuff? No, her mother's giving her shit still, too. All those squids didn't come from nowhere.
That's it?
Yes.
On to the comments, then.
All right. Golden Self from the episode The Witch's War. The currency just doesn't make sense. There's no 5,000 yen coin. That would be like a $50 coin. So maybe physical money is only used for large amounts and paper money is useless/obsolete for some reason, which makes very little sense.
Like I said, originally I thought it was more close to the yen, which means the 50 and 100 and 500 and 1,000, even 5,000 coins would make more sense. But if it's equivalent to the dollar, I mean, also it's a digital age. Why not use your phone or a credit card or something, you know?
Sorry, you had a whole argument against that when I brought that up in like episode 2.
Because I thought it was closer to the yen. That's why I thought. But if it's closer to the dollar, then...
But I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters what currency it's based on. I think the moment you said it's the digital age, you were in the same boat as me as when I say maybe it's all digital currency. I also disagree with the whole paper money being useless or obsolete is a dumb idea. Or, sorry, they say makes very little sense. No. I mean, I get the idea. You don't want a pocket full of change. It's more weighty. But I would also argue that coin-based money also lasts longer than paper money. Even like modern paper money, which is made of a material it's supposed to... I get the idea is that paper money is lighter. You can carry more of it around to represent larger denominations, but I don't know, coins just last longer. Also, you can use them in more commerce. I would argue that, vending machines, rental things, the laundromat, we've seen a lot more coin-based currency in the show than anything else. We've only seen digital currency the one time when she scanned her phone to go through the turnstile.
And you can, actually, I think that's just, it's kind of digital money, but it's more like she already has a prepaid.
It's still digital.
And if you put enough of them in a bag, you can use it as a weapon. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why I got all those oranges.
Well, this would be more compact, but still.
Yeah, but I think no one's going to... I think you're a little bit more sus when you're walking around with a bag of coins. Whereas if I'm walking around with a bag of oranges, I'm selling the oranges, I'm eating the oranges. Who the fuck knows, right? But it's just fruit. All right, next up we have Heaven. 72 from The Witch's War. While I agree with Data about Shiko's seeking closure, I believe her motivation wasn't revenge. Shiko clearly loved piloting, but had to sacrifice her career after the war in order to start a family. New Type for Shiko represented the idea of people who could get what they want without sacrificing anything. Both her Mav and Char, whom she suspected to be these special people, died/disappeared, which allowed her to make that sacrifice because nobody was special. But then the Red Gundam reappeared, and Shiko was once again confronted with the idea of special people. Thus, she had to defeat the Red Gundam to convince herself that her sacrifice was necessary, because if someone was special, then it would make a mockery of her mundanity.
And then it turns out that she was special, as she died. Oops.
Oh, is that all you got?
That's all I got.
Okay. I mean, there was a lot there. Okay.
I mean, he's basically saying your point more or less, you know.
No, they're saying. See, I said it was about revenge, so they're going against my point. I said they were seeking closure through revenge. You said that they were seeking to kill themselves, essentially.
Yeah, and you know.
Yeah. I mean, they're obviously going against your point for not agreeing with it at all, but they're also countering that mine is wrong too, because I said it was revenge, and they're making it a play of anti-new type thing. Like, they're pulling the John Henry, I feel like, that I have to defeat you to prove that mundanes are better or as good as, because you're breaking the natural order of things.
Except that like I said, she proved to be special after all at the very end.
Well, I mean, it would be a double failure then. One, she didn't win, proving her point. She didn't. And also proving that, well, I guess it doesn't prove anything. If you're a new type going up against new types, you don't prove that you're better or worse.
Well, she wants to prove that new types are not special. But then she proved out to be a new type, which is probably one of the reasons why she was so good during the war anyway, and she was a whatever she was.
Well, no, her map was also a new type, so she was a new type crew. No, she wasn't trying to prove that they weren't special. She was saying that they were special, and that's the problem. Because, again, the idea that it would make, literally the end of the comment is makes a mockery of her mundanity.
Yeah, but in the actual show, she says that the new types are just BS, right? She doesn't believe they exist at all.
Well, of course, you can deny stuff that's true.
I mean,
the viewers of the show know that new types are real. So we have to take that into context when she's going on about how new types are bullshit and propaganda. So we have to then acknowledge that this must be self-delusion. We cannot actually believe that she doesn't think new types are real, because also in her memories of it, she's remembering fucking new types. So she knows it's not true. So again, you can deny stuff that is true. Flat earthers, Republicans.
I mean, but in this case, there would be no evidence other than that's a very good pilot. If she...
There would be no evidence of what? You didn't preface
that new types exist at the moment, right?
You mean there wouldn't be any evidence?
These are very good pilots.
The way that we talk about Kycilia Bull, let alone that, you know?
But she hasn't interacted with Kycilia Bull.
She interacted with her Mav, was a new type. And it seemed to be a lot going on there, to the level that she keeps regarding him. Like, she took her new family to his grave. That is some commitment.
I mean, okay. If she herself didn't know what a new type was, and she didn't realize that she was a new type until the very last minute, then she couldn't realize that her Mav was a new type, because for her, he just was a very good pilot, right?
She knew Char was a new type, so she fucking hated him. Well, he killed
but she
Mav.
says we killed his Mav, so no,
yeah, but she believed Char to be a new type.
No, she believed.
She says these things independently of one another. These are multiple different conversations that she has. I'm not saying all in one breath. She got this whole new types are bullshit propaganda. By the way, Char is a new type, all in one thing. She has multiple scenes throughout the episode.
Yeah, but her point was that I don't believe in them.
No, that's what she says. I'm saying that is the what do you call it? The D word. Dichotomy, for some reason, is the only word coming in my head. No, not delusion.
Delusion.
The ability for a person to hold two different beliefs in their head at the same time. It starts with a D.
I know what you're talking. Yeah, I know what you're talking
I
about.
said dichotomy is the only word coming in my head, and that's not the right one either.
No.
Anyway, I believe that's what's going on. She is delusional only from the aspect that she wants to be. She wants to prove it to be not true, to make the world fit in the way that she wants it to fit. But she also knows that she's lying to herself.
Okay, and let me put it this way. It's like the audience knows in the show that ghosts are real, right? But you have somebody in the show in itself that says, no, I don't believe in ghosts. And has very good explanations for why ghosts are not real. She hasn't experienced but she or they or whatever haven't have that direct experience until they have the direct experience with the ghost. Like, oh, okay, I cannot deny it because it's so obvious. I think she's in the...
She fought during the 1 year war next to a new type and against the new types. She had the experience. She met a ghost.
Yeah, but how do you identify a new type, by the way? Just so they're very good at what they do.
Well, she already says it's Xeon propaganda, so literally she could define it by that Xeon propaganda.
Xeon propaganda is that we have new types, and that's what we're winning.
I'm pretty sure the Xeon propaganda isn't just a big old sign that says we have new types. That would be the worst propaganda ever.
Races, space noids versus Earth noids kind of situation, which you would probably also don't want to accept as well.
Also, again, the Federation has new types too, because her Mav was a new type. They had to have known it was a new type before he died. They didn't find this out afterwards. Otherwise, they wouldn't be calling him a new type. He was just some really exceptional guy that died.
But she never said her Mav was a new type.
We kind
of concluded.
Actually, no. Her friend says that. Assume friend. We know that they have a connection. We're not sure what the connection is. I think we're assuming that what's her name, the leader of the Junker Guild thing, is a former Federation soldier. It's my guess, but she says, which means that if another Federation soldier says it, other Federation soldiers probably know too. But obviously not going to take Shiki's point of view, because as I said, self-denial.
I think there's still a moment of doubt there, but anyway, moving on.
Gyro Melkor from The Witch's War. It was indirectly explained in episode 2, all mobile suits / armor that you would know from UC had their production stopped in its tracks at Char's request because Zeon got their hands on the Gundam and were now focused on reverse engineering it. That's why Shiko's is pretty much a general model mobile suit, but using a leftover name from a Zeon product that was never mass-produced in this timeline. Its official name is even called GMS-01 Gelgog. I don't even know why you're considering this.
No, it's like...
I've only included this comment because I wanted on the record that we already know.
I read that comment too. Yeah, I agree with it. There's just a question of why would you choose that name, though?
Why did you say that name?
Listen, that's the part that doesn't make sense.
GMS-01 Martha.
It could be anything, right? It's like, if it's...
Because it's a reference that Universal Century fans would get.
Yeah.
Except for us, apparently.
Remember berries. That's something that's useless.
Well, again, my problem was that I was thinking of the GOG, not the Gelgog. I was thinking of a completely different mobile suit. Not that it matters. They were both mass production models. And then both of them wouldn't have existed. So, at the end of the day, it's the difference between a Tesla truck and a Tesla car. Things that shouldn't exist.
I mean, the Tesla car they're supposed to be pretty good.
Is it? I hear the competing models are... I think the competing models are better, yeah. So in which case, why does the worst one still exist?
Popularity.
Okay, that's just name recognition. It's not popular because it's good. It's popular because of the name. And is it popular? So I think that's it for the comments. So let's go ahead and just go in and see what we get from the plot to Assassinate Kycilia.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
I know you say you like this song.
Mhm.
I think I much prefer the ending credit song to this one. I don't
Oh,
have
yeah, both
anything
of them are
against
good.
it. I don't have anything against it.
Yeah.
It's just like it falls in that category, but I don't think it's bad. But I just also wouldn't regard it as good. Like if I was listing a number of good songs, this wouldn't make the list. This would just be
I think
it
it's a-
suffers the sin
Mhm.
of being meh, which is to say it doesn't have any defining characteristics about it that I would find noteworthy to mention to somebody.
I mean, I think this would be a good like drive
No, that's what-
around. Yeah,
Sorry.
I know.
Yeah, I'm saying
I saw it. Yeah,
We
Savior
kinda-
and
yeah, we fell off of that conversation, didn't go anywhere back to
yeah.
it.
But to me, it's a good like put on the headphones and just walk around, or even run type of music. Good exercise music for me.
Again, rock and roll guy, right? I would rather listen to like Freebird or Leonard Skinner or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I need something that gets me going. Not that I, do much, obviously. Look at me. But this doesn't get me going. Like I'm not excited for hearing this. This is maybe it's the beat. It doesn't have a tune that gets to me.
いつあんな戦い方を思いついたんだ。マジ興奮したぜ。あ、どうした？ずぶ濡れじゃねえか。
So you thought she was skinnier when she got into the Gundam, and now she got fat again? Is that what I mean, not fat, but fatter. And conceivably shorter.
次の相手はさ、クランランキングトップの12ブズだ。
Oh, 12 Olympians. I've got the list.
気に入られたみたいだな。
Okay, maybe Jesse's not working against. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there
I was
it is.
right.
ご苦労対
キケロガは公式にサイコミを搭載した誰もが知る禁止条約兵器なんですよ。
Oh, they're prohibited from the
とい
treaty.
う噂だけでも大事になります。
Well, that would explain why not to launch the GQuuuuuuX.
そこまでして危ない橋を渡る必要あります？
構いません
Well, use a Saikamu to capture a
こ
Saikamu.
のコロニーで会合が開かれます。まだ総帥府でさえ知らされていない非公式な会合よ。相手はワンナバルの前首席議長で、現在はサイド6大統領のペルガミノ。
Pergamino?
こちらからは
Doesn't ring a bell.
シリア閣下が出席される
Wasn't that the guy who had
そ
the
の護衛も兼ねてでしょ。ここの
the guy who was selling weapons to both sides?
Sounds familiar, yeah. That sounds
Yeah.
about right.
サイド6には
So you're keeping him president?
どちらかといえばギレン
I mean, he had enough
総帥より
money.
言われるサイド6だけど、ジオニックやアナハイム
But also that Giran doesn't know about this.
It's a shipbuilding cartel,
シ
yeah.
リア様につくとなれば状況が変わる。赤いガンダムを調べに来ただけじゃなかったのか。
I mean, it almost sounds like Kycilia's forming a new
カリフォルニア産
faction.
のワインを持参しましたので、後ほどお部屋へお持ちします。
ほう
Oh.
戦火の中よく畑が生き残っていたものです
Yeah, it's right next to the Picard vineyards.
なんで軍警が？
Oh, I thought that was the guy we didn't know was a faction for before.
今朝方からうちでもさっきだってる。キシリア様が訪問されるこのタイミングで一体何のつもりか。知っての通り、奴はもともとギレン総帥の配下。キシリア様にあだなすために送り込まれていた可能性もある。
まさか。
I mean, as per, right? Also, we have this guy listed as Bergamino in our board.
Yeah.
If it's still the fat guy with a blue suit.
Oh, he is an agent. He is an agent of Kycilia. That's what he said. That Savior was there to monitor Shia LaBeouf.
Okay. Then he was going through official channels. Because, again, the whole spycraft thing I was talking about before. Well, is his name Pergamino or Bergamino? Because we have it listed as
初
Bergamino.
めてのキラキラで舞い上がってたけど、よく思い返したらあんなの本当のマブじゃない。私、シュウちゃんにひどいことしたかも。
By having possessions.
そうなんだけど、昔からテンパるとわけわかになる。
ありのままでいい。
You and 99% of other anime, the guy with the giant red eyes would be the villain.
Yeah.
違う、本当の私はあんなじゃないし。
どっちのニャーも好きだ。と、ガンダムが言っている。
Yeah, it's a Gundam saying it, sure.
Well, I still think the Gundam might be Char.
今日はね。
Also, I'd be very uncomfortable wearing a shirt that's all open up on down the side. Like Shuji is.
キラキラってすごいね。マチの言った通り。なんでニャンが乗ってるんだ。でも、うるさい。そこは私の場所だろ。
How dare you, you stupid refugee! She might as well be saying that. Remember, she gets beat up by the cops. She can't showed up that one time with the bruised eye and shit.
Yeah.
How dare you, Machu? You live in privilege.
あの子言ってたぞ。怖いけど友達のために乗るって。
分かってるよ、そんなこと。
Okay, at least she regrets. Finally, we got her mother's name.
部長、確認お願いします。
Chief, too.
Explains why she has money.
Well,
her
we
family
already
probably
knew she
has
was in a
armor.
high position because she was meeting
Yeah.
with what's his name.
Yeah.
You know anything about the Gundam?
来週娘の発表会でさ、頑張ったご褒美にプレゼントあげたいんだけど。
Oh. Much more down to earth than I thought this was going to be.
金とか言うなよ。
Because when he drove up to her, my thought process was, don't piss Neon off too much with your bullshit,
Yeah.
Macho. She could sell you all out.
とか言うなよ。
Wait, is that her dad?
No, I don't think so.
It felt like that conversation was like going in a way where he's being like a little obtuse about what do you want for your birthday sort of thing. Application day. Children grow up.
He wants to go to school, I guess.
No, it was the name of the book on her bookshelf. Children grow up. I guess technically I could compare the calendar dates to the date of the paper that MASH was in to see what the difference between the days are.
3人で食べたかったな。
どう考えたって危ないっすよ。
俺も行く。
一人でという約束だ。
絶対罠だろ。
そんな必要もない。
Get more backstory on her.
あいつらは今すぐここにビームをぶち込めるんだよ。
Yeah, it'd be very first episode OG Gundam, first episode Seed, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
再開発でシェルターを拡大しているんですね。
戦争の準備さ。このコロニーだって築70年を過ぎた。当時の連中が夢見た未来はもう消えちまったよ。
That's a date too.
以前はジオン国籍だったとか。
今はもうジオンもサイド6も信用しない。こいつを押せば あのモビルスーツはドッカーンだ。
Okay, terrorist.
ドッカーンだ。
In case you forgot.
慌てないでください。私はむしろ感謝を伝えに来たんです。これまでに得られたガンダムクワックスの実践データは大変貴重なもの。何事もなく返却いただけるなら謝礼をお支払いしてもいい。明日のクランバトルに勝利した後でね。
Get everything you want and give us the thing back.
素晴らしいマブなら何度だって見たい。私もポメラニアンズのファンなのです。ぜひランキング1位に。
Literally could have just bought those on the way over and stuck them to a phone.
モビルスーツを壊さずに返せる保証はないよ。
何か問題でも。
次の敵クラン12オリンピアンズは最近オーナーが変わった。
Kycilia bought a
カマ
team.
ラカマラ商会って名前の素性の知れない会社だ。嫌な予感がする。まさかあんたと繋がってるんじゃないだろうね。
That'd be some bullshit, wouldn't it? Give us our Gundam back. By the way, I'm competing against you.
アマラカマラ商会。何ですかこれは。冷蔵庫じゃないんですか。
コロニー公社が発注した空調機だよ。戦争で穴の開いたコロニーの
Is it gonna be Amuro?
には何年もかかる。でっかいのがいるんだってよ。
I'm sorry. You know the L for R replacement thing?
Yeah.
That's definitely not Amuro.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking Kamara Ray was Amuro's mom.
それでいいね。
You replace the R for an L and it's Kamala,
と
right?
ころでガンダムクワックスを動かしているのはどのような方なのですか。
お嬢ちゃんさ。
二人とも。
Ah, you figured out there were two of them.
Mom didn't make it. Not with this unofficial visit coming.
Yeah, Ma's just looking for a place, something to do with her life, and she thought she found it with the GQuuuuuX, but if someone else can step in.
お母様、実は進路希望のアンケートがまだ。
Look, it did. It was filled with squid.
塾行ってないわね。毎晩一体何やってるの。父さんになんて言えばいいのよ。進路のことは真剣に考えて。
Oh, hey, Dad's still around. Good to know.
今はちょっと。そんな具体的でなくてもいいから、何かやりたいこととかないの？
希望があるなら話してみてよ。お母さんちゃんと聞くから。
Oh, she wants to leave you behind to go to her.
そういうのは進路じゃないの。ほら、結局聞いてくれないじゃん。
I mean, arguably, you could have gone about that a better way. And I don't mean Machu, actually. I mean the parent. I want to swim on Earth. Okay, well, what's a career that we can get you to get there? Right? You work with them. Don't become oppositional. Like, is there a career path to scuba diver?
お前だろ。危険だから早く手放せと言ったのは。
だからって。
赤いガンダムの隠れ家はもう見つけてある。
これって
10年以上前に廃棄されたエアロックの跡だ。ハッチはジャンクヤードの影にあって外からの探知も難しい。よくあんな場所に着いたもんだ。
町の跡をつけたんですか。
世間知らずの子供だ。簡単だって。こいつに懸賞金がかかってることは知ってるな。クラバの賞金より高い。
I keep getting this guy, because I know he's a part of their group, kind of mixed up with the other guy that we saw standing outside that unmarked building. The two guys that we can't figure out who they're part of.
ここは引き払う。今下手に騒ぐとバレる。クランバトルが始まるまでは何もするな。
ジークアクスは
もちろん置いていく。ジオンが本気で動き出した。これまでは服の神だったが、この先は疫病神になる。これ以上関わらない方がいい。
Surprising anybody with bright red hair, a white outfit, and a dark room could hide anywhere.
Maybe not looking in the right direction.
I don't know, maybe I'm paranoid. I'm always looking all over the place. Also, I had the conversation right in front of the Haru. Haru is well known for keeping their trap shut.
私のモビルスーツに会いたくて。何？
もうクラバに出るのはやめろ。
は？
お前のおかげで借金も返せた。感謝してる。けど冒険はここまでだ。明日から普通に学校に行って普通に勉強しろ。もう
Again, 12 episode run so far. Halfway point, stop showing up for clan battle.
Yeah.
One of your guns is missing.
とにかく俺は止めたからな。
Yes, I know it's a sticker. I have no idea what the fuck that would represent, though.
赤いガンダムの隠れ家はもう見つけてある。
私のせいだ。
You know, Macho, the responsible thing, I think, would be to warn Shuji?
そうしたら人と会えない。修二の新しい隠れ家を見つけなきゃ。
ガンダムも一緒。
そうだ。
Also, technically, doesn't the Haru belong to the Junker people?
I guess so.
You can steal that thing wherever we want.
どこにあるんだよ。そんな場所。
I guess Earth?
どうすればいい？
I mean, they don't have enough money to go to Earth yet, so.
They put the down payment on the thing.
Yeah, but they don't have it, so.
Doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter. If you don't have it, you don't have it.
Yeah, it's not going to do illegal things all the time in this show. For literally clan battles illegal, remember?
Yeah, but who's going to pilot the fighter if they're in the Gundams?
Haru.
このアマラカマラ商会というのは極東の島国で登記されています。
I was going to be Japan?
Japan, yeah. It is Japan.
その近くには連邦軍の特殊な研究施設があったはずだ。
確か人体実験してるところですよね。
Did they make coordinators?
連邦軍情報局の連中は毒ガスを使うようなヤバい輩だし。
まあ、赤いガンダムやジークワックスは目立つからな。地球まで噂が届いたって不思議じゃない。
中佐はどこでこんな情報を仕入れたんです？
さあ、何でもかんでも内緒ですからね。
Well, he either has a huge information network or red minds. I don't know who you are.
You're very blonde.
And welcome to Earth.
I guess, yeah.
Did Char get reincarnated and not into the Gundam?
ジオンの船がいるのは想定外であります。バスクオム少佐。
Ah.
分かっている。あれはシャリアブルの特殊部隊だ。赤い彗星の行方を追っていると聞いていたが、まったく間が悪い。
ジオン最強のニュータイプという噂です。
そのニュータイプとやらを倒すために貴様ら強化人間を育て。
Ah, fuck. Eh.
ここは役に立ってもらうぞ。
It's not information I think like I should know yet.
月を離れるのは5年ぶりだ。これほどのチャンスは二度とあるまい。
確かな情報でありますか？
ジオンの中にもザビの一族を快く思わない者がいるのだ。あとは貴様があの子供をうまく使えさえすれば、この計画は
I'm assuming that's the blonde, or the platinum blonde girl that we saw on the front.
ゲーツキャパ注意。
I'm gonna guess these are characters we're gonna know with after we get out of the 1 Year War. I knew that.
デュー、今からサイコスーツを着てどうする？作戦は明日だぞ。
Any suit I wear is a psycho suit.
本当の体に戻りたい。
本当の体？じゃあ今窓に映っている。
I was gonna say she feels like she's from a different anime.
心臓。
心臓？誰の？
サイコガンダム。
なんたる規格外。村雨犬は普通じゃない。
I feel like this is the spoilers people warned me about. There might be spoilers in the show.
Yeah.
I've heard the words cyber new type before. Never seen anything for it. That's why I made the example of cyber new types being what was it called? Extendeds from Seed.
話がある。修二と赤いガンダムのこと。
Oh, she would know where to hide a Gundam, maybe?
No, I mean Shuji would know. Well, Shuji did know. This is the only place he came up with.
Oh, he knows they're coming for him. Hence the repaint part of it, I think.
Man, it's these two again. I was just talking about you.
せっかく釈放してやったのに、今度は物騒なモビルアーマーまで持ち込んで、一体何を企んでいるんだ。いや、あれは戦争は貴様らだけで勝手にやってくれ。我々を巻き込む。
Literally in the opening, he's not getting killed.
僕を撃ったって何にもならんだろう。警告だ。こちらの覚悟を知ってもらう。
Shot each other? Kycilia?
Kyla? Yeah.
I feel like it would have been hilarious if they actually shot each other. This will let them know we're serious.
はい。僕は助かってよかったんですが、どうするんですかこれ。
九泊不正の侵害に対して思わず撃ってしまいましたが、
I didn't think that far.
ソドン立ち入り捜査の口実を与えるのは面倒ですね。ギレン総帥
I mean, it'd be an active war.
に連絡して隠蔽してもらいましょう。
Oh, so Giran has a secret service.
キシリア
I mean, I assume.
Yeah.
I assume every zombie had their own thing. Yeah.
本当に中佐はキシリア様を狙っているのか。もしそんなことになったら、僕はこの人を殺せるのか。
Yeah, so Kycilia reporting still to Giran, and Xavier reporting to Kycilia.
And she is.
Seriously? The next time it was the... Okay, I think I mentioned this before, where in Gundam Seed, there's an episode that literally the next time on is Atherin, like in a shootout with Kigali on an island.
Yeah.
And that is the last 5 seconds of the episode. Of that episode that was the next time for. That was the next time on. Last episode. Kycilia coming into port. Last 5 seconds. Okay, I guess they're doing the thing. They're homaging Gundam history. Remember that time we did this in Seed? I guess if it was a real homage to Gundam history,
I mean,
there would be a narrator.
I think they also did it in 79 as well.
There would be a narrator telling us exactly what happens next episode, who lives and who dies. That would be a real homage. Next time on Gundam GQuuuuuX, they'll be... Watch as Kycilia comes into port. Kycilia will try and kill her. Who will live and who dies? Watch as Kycilia dies. You know?
Yeah. But I think they also did it in 79 as well.
That's what I just said. I didn't say
not the
Gundam
narrator.
Seed.
I'm talking about the last song. The best of me just like the 5 seconds after. I don't remember the episode though, but it feels like they did that. I know what you're talking about because that's the whole aspect when the Atherin and Kigali are on the island and talking to each other.
2人だけの秘密の計画。危険なことは百も承知だけど、みんなで地球に行ける。約束の場所で落ち合うことができたら。次回、マチのリベリオン。
Well, yeah, they're going to try and take the Gundam before they can take the Gundam away from them. So, obviously, the Zeon forces are going to launch to try and capture it once it's known that they're not following the plan. So whatever we saw there was the Kikuruga or whatever it was called. I didn't really see what it looked like. For me, I was just thinking, oh, is that the Destroy from Gundam Seek Destiny?
It had a double gun, so that looks more like.
Well, that's all I saw was the end of the gun. So I don't know. I guess I imagined an Ed 209 like platform holding. I don't know why. I just came up with my own thing in my head while I was looking at it.
I thought that it was going to be the assassination was going to be in this episode, but I guess it was a misnomer.
Well, no, it's not. The episode's called "The Plot to Assassinate Kycilia."
No,
I think we established the plot. If the episode was titled "The Assassination of Kycilia," I think that would have been a big old spoiler.
Cool.
But yeah, no, I don't know what cyber new types are, so the element that it's throwing them out there, that's a spoiler effect. I thought I knew the name Boskam, but apparently I don't. Sorry, when the name popped up, I just kept bringing up the Gundam board that we have, and I was like, oh, quick type, Boskam. Nope, not there. Unless like the Pergamino thing. Again, we have him labeled as Bergamino because on the voice actor listing, he's named Bergamino. This guy's named Pergamino, which is it the same guy? And they're just doing some weird letter replacement thing? Or is it a completely different guy with a very similar name?
I think, pergamino is a Spanish word, meaning not manuscript, but like a scroll. So it might have always been pergamino, and in the translation of 79, they just
again where they credit the voice actor for who plays who, they called him Bergamino. However many years later after the fact, that's what they labeled him as. And it's always possible this is somebody else. Remember, we have 2 listed Flanagans. We have 3 of the other guy with the same name. I can't remember. The 2 kids and an adult have the name.
Yeah, but the thing is that this Bergamino or Pergamino is in charge of a shipbuilding company. And that was the thing in that episode of Side 3 where they were going to fix the white base in his shipyard that was just outside of Side 3's control. So
Side 6.
Side 6. And it gets ambushed and they shoot through the
I still find it hilarious. You still can't remember where we're at.
Yeah. And the whole ambush, and they shoot and they destroy the.
I know you're trying. I don't know if you're trying to remind me or the audience.
Both.
Well, you don't have to remind me.
I'm trying to remind you because now, if he's the president, he still would probably be in connections to or be in charge of the shipbuilding stuff.
Or
that
5 years later, it's his son, and he just named his son Pergamino.
True. And if Kycilia is looking for a fleet of her own outside of
seems like the
Zeon,
dumbest way to do it. She runs really. Granada, the site of Zeonic and
Pergamino,
Anaheim.
Well, it does no. She might be running Granada. She might not be in control or have the loyalties.
For some reason, leaned back into Pergamino. I don't give a shit about Pergamino. I'm saying it's dumb for Kycilia to reach out here when she has control of the facilities that Granada has always been.
We don't know. We don't know what the loyalties of
If she has control of the main base on the moon, then I feel like she has control of the surrounding area as well.
Well, that's the thing about Civil Wars. You don't know whose loyalties where
I
each
think
person
we can just
lies.
establish who's got control of what territories, and then assume that when we're making our estimations of who's got the ability where.
Well, then why go out? Either she's going outside to get.
I'm not saying you're wrong. Still, you don't have to take a defensive measure. Like you think I'm opposing you on this. I'm just saying that it seems stupid to me. I'm not saying that your theory is stupid. I'm saying that if this was the course of action that we're watching play out, that I feel like she's overextending herself for not very much gains. Because at the end of the day, you could just buy the material as per what Ortega thought was going to happen, and then have that material shipped back to your operating facilities. Because at the end of the day, if this place is making stuff, it's going to run out of material. It doesn't have the supply chain of Zeon. It has a supply chain of a bunch of people bringing little bits at a time to then be sent to the furnace. At which point, you probably have a existing wealth of material that's going to be burnt out as soon as you put it all to wartime production.
We don't know how much it is, though.
I know how fast it's coming in. It's coming in on a traffic-laden road with a bunch of people.
No, the traffic laden road and the boxes were completely different places.
They're not completely different places. They're relative to each other.
No, the furnace is one place. These guys were moving.
They're all in the
size
6 area. They're literally relative to one another.
Yeah, but they're not sharing the same road. It was just different places.
I didn't say they were sharing the same road. I just said that's how it's all coming in.
Yeah,
these people are pulling it in.
No, they just did. No, I
think you're misunderstanding me. I'm not saying that I'm not saying there's like a tow truck and he's like got a bunch of blocks behind him going down the road. I'm saying that there's a supply network involved here, and the people bringing it in have their own supply network, and that's representational of the traffic in the area. Like when we see the fights happening and they're flying through these blocks, the blocks are all in this long fucking path, and we have to assume that they're all on a path going towards that furnace, which means the traffic is representational, both of the supply network and the shit coming in. It's a visual metaphor, and not even a dense one.
Yeah, but when you say traffic, I'm thinking about Miguel and.
No, I was referencing them. Yeah. I'm referencing them as a visual metaphor for the congestion of all those fucking blocks. Again, every fight, well, nearly every fight of clan battle we've seen, the blocks are just floating there in a line, waiting to go towards the furnace. It's congestion.
Yeah. But
the entirety of Side 6 is surrounded by congestion of multiple varieties. There's congestions of Minovsky particles, congestions of, I don't know what you would call space traffic, congestion of refuse blocks waiting to go to the furnace. It's a visual metaphor. This place is busy.
Yeah, but I think also, I think going back to the point I was trying to make, either she is looking to bypass the existing Sion situation because she doesn't have as much control loyalties. She's trying to expand her control to Side 6.
This is why I said overextending.
I don't know why that would be overextending, though.
It's just overextending because it's not necessary. It's not necessary. It's to the arguments we were having at the beginning of the episode. We don't know the current landscape of the situation. For me, it seems like overextending because the two primary sources of mobile suit development are on the moon. And both of them fall under her purview as the person. She made her base Granada, and those bases are literally right off of that city. And if she has any establishment there, as she did throughout the 1-year war, I don't know why she would abandon that stronghold, then she still has the primary source of Xeon development.
Again, and we've seen how corporate loyalties can change very quickly.
At the point of a gun, I don't think it matters. Oh, I want to sell all the money I can, or I'm going to get all the money I can. It doesn't matter if I shoot you in the fucking back of the head. Secret Service. Kycilia doesn't suffer these people.
And Garen also has his own Secret Service, so,
Yeah,
he could have his own people there.
Your secret, it doesn't matter, though. At the end of the day, the, what do you call it? Sorry, I know the words, but apparently, just like that D word we were trying to think of earlier, the words are not, the losing of material over time to effect.
That's attrition.
Attrition, yeah. Sorry, I was trying to think of a C word. The attrition of your forces against hers, this is her home base. Your forces are going to be run down over time as she gets things under lockdown. Also, she's more experienced in this. Giran is someone so stupid he lets someone pull a gun at the back of their head and says, "Stop joking." We've proven which one of them is smarter than the other when it comes to this.
Yeah, or it could be that she wants to deny, and that's the third point I want to make, deny this to Giran, right? So if something happens,
I don't know.
She wants to make sure that either they stay neutral or don't side with Giran.
I feel
because if she that means that Giran would benefit from having an outside source that is not Grenada if she has Grenada on lockdown. It's Giran who wants to do it.
I would argue that that's not the way that I feel like they would play things out. These people are not subtle. They're the fucking zombies. they would probably go denial in the same with the Windemirians from across the to tie things in. Probably would. Known to bomb allies and enemies alike. The best way to deny Giran this resource is to make sure it's no longer a resource.
I mean, she's a little more subtle than Giran, so she.
Well, I'm not saying that like destroy Side 6. I mean, just like destroy the furnaces, get rid of the resources, make sure there's no production facilities, take out Pergamino. You know, establish your own puppet organization in his place.
She did take over Grenada very quietly. That's how she did so.
Not really. She did it like in the first day of the declaration of war. You're talking about when she killed the mayor. That wasn't her taking over. That was her silencing somebody who got information he shouldn't have had, which is specifically about the upcoming war. She like literally launched an assault. We see Char is present for that attack. So that wasn't silent at all. That was an open statement of war.
Yeah, but she already had her people in key positions and already had...
That was actually not represented anywhere in Origin. She literally had the mayor killed, and then immediately we go to the dropping of Zaku's over top. There's no... Remember, I'm the one who paused and read the newspaper to us, and how deep I thought. I was like, oh man, this is crazy. Listen to this. How deep the newspaper goes into the assassination of the mayor. It's not really an assassination. It is from our perspective. It's not from the perspective of the newspaper. But it like names everybody in the councils and everything like this. And it's like fucking deep. It doesn't say the episode goes nowhere about Kycilia putting people into power or anything. I think the idea is that you wouldn't have to.
I mean, remember he was assassinated by he got run over in that tunnel.
Yeah,
that's so she had people there to do that, right?
Assumedly, or it was an automatic truck or whatever. There's
it
no
was a guy driving it. Yeah.
I can't remember. I did read the newspaper, and the newspaper covers everything. But again, having somebody in a truck doesn't mean you have people in positions of power all over the city. I could probably, here's $1,000, run into that car. I said to a trucker, that trucker's not a position of power. He's going wrong way down a one-way road.
Either way, I think that we're moving to the Sion Civil War here now, right?
Not yet. Clearly, we're still in the Machu, Shuji, Nyan have to get away with their Gundam element.
The thing is, what is the Federation? I mean, I think the Federation wants to.
Well, the Federation's not a thing.
Well, those guys were from the Federation.
No, they come from. They're the. Sorry, I'm trying to think of because my example I want to bring is the Desert Dawn, which was essentially the Earth rebellion group in which from Mercury, which itself, they're not the Federation. They might be made up of former Federation members, but there is no official Federation anymore.
I mean, they said the Federation is still doing experiments.
They said a former Federation base. Former.
They say it said a nearby Federation, not former.
No, they said former. I read former.
I have to go back and watch.
Yeah, again, it could be a notes thing.
No, but either way, the fact that they were developing cyber, I mean that means that somebody's paying for that.
It's been 5 years.
So so it has to come from somebody.
It's been 5 years. Yeah, well, we saw it. Well, we saw it's a shell because, or not a shell.
Shell Corporation, yeah.
Well, I would say Shell Corporation, but I don't know if it's a Shell Corporation at all. It's a lie. The corporation name for the people coming in is literally a bombed out building that the name was on and outside of. So, as the fake name of a place, to represent them. That's all it is. It's not a Shell Corporation. They're not playing Resident Evil with Umbrella Corps. They just said, we need a name. Look, what's the name of the building that we're in?
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to try to be sarcastic.
No, don't worry. It'll come across that way no matter what.
What do you think a shell corporation is?
A shell corporation is a legal organization that is, oh fuck, it was in my head a second ago. The difference that I'm presenting here is that they just put a name on a paper and didn't do anything with it, versus a legal corporation name representing something that it's not.
Actually, it's a corporate front. So shell corporation isn't like.
Well, that's what I said, representing something that it's not.
which is a fake company. So
yeah,
that's
if
what they're
I
doing.
say I need a way to launder my money and I make up a company name and I start processing money through it and then represent that as, oh, it's a bunch of laundromats that I actually have, that's a shell corporation. It's not a real thing.
As long as you have an address, a valid address, and an incorporating document, that's all you need, and that's it. That's what a shell corporation is, basically.
I'm saying that they are probably not a legal corporation. I'm saying that they probably didn't file a bunch of paperwork to make themselves a real thing. They just picked the name on the outside of the building that they are currently, like, I don't know what the Bosk is looking at with the binoculars, because it looks just a bombed out area. But then again, that follows through on what I was referencing with the Desert Dawn guys. They're just a bunch of refugees trying to make it on Earth. The idea is, I think they just took the name. I don't think they formed a shell corporation. They didn't, like, sign a bunch of paperwork, take it to the bank, I need to form a company. I think they just took the name and then said, hey, we need to get through customs, claim to be this company. If they check, it'll just, maybe that company's still around, maybe it's not.
Well, if you want to bluff something like customs, the best way to do it is to have something.
Literally, OG Gundam, they bluffed their way onto the white
and it wasn't
base.
A corporation. What they were pretending to be was part of the
a fishing company.
Not a fishing company. The Maldives Fishing Authority, which checks, controls fisheries and all that.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to get into an argument about that part with you because I went on record because I did all the research and then I got into a discussion with you during that episode, and I'm not going to be as informed now as I am then, and I will probably make statements that will turn out to be untrue. So I know that I argued with you back then, and I had the receipts. So go back then if you want to hear what our points of view were. Whatever episode that was, whatever Flanagan Boone shows up on, I think it's Across the Atlantic. It might be the episode
Across
name.
the Atlantic, when this girl dies,
Yeah. Well, no, I guess she dies technically in the same episode. I don't know. I thought she died in the episode after. But either way, like I said, my problem is that my GQuuuuuX notes are not tied in to my Gundam notes, and my Gundam notes have been deleted every episode we make a reaction. So, unlike now, I'm keeping all of these together.
I probably have my notes. I don't know if I actually made a note about that. I think we made a note about his.
It was in my notes, and
the guy's
you responded to it. So the
Yeah.
Xeon accent, which is German and
Yeah.
English.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I remember the points that we make. It's just I don't remember the specific facts, which is not good for having a discussion or, mind you, an argument. So I don't want to enter into this knowing that you could say anything and I wouldn't know, right? You could, in fact, make up stuff and I wouldn't know because I wouldn't remember. It's just a bad position to be in, and I'd rather not enter it to begin with. To be fair, rather not enter any of these arguments, but that is the benefit, is that we disagree. Because again, if we just agreed on everything, what would we be doing?
Oh, this episode.
Yeah.
The plan to kill Kycilia.
I mean, it's going to be a lot of notes for next time. Because again, I thought for some reason Bosk, maybe I'm thinking Star Wars. I thought Bosk was a guy we knew. But again, whenever they said a name, I went over to our Gundam board from the UC timeline real quick and just like typed it out. And was like, nope, nobody.
Yeah, and also the show kind of presents it like, oh, you should know this guy, because it's very like dramatic reveal. He turns around like, here I am. It's like, who the fuck are you?
Well, there's also the element of, that how I say your name all the time when I'm referring to you. Lessons. You know how to talk about lessons all the time? Lessons. So that, because if this was an outward narrative, the viewer would need to know who I'm referring to. And if I never say your name ever, you're just that guy on the other side of the screen. So I have to say Lessons at least once, so they'll know I'm referring to you, the character known as Lessons. So I don't think like that guy would show up and Bosk Calm. It's like
yeah.
But then again, like the Ortega thing, you're damn right. Who the fuck are you talking to? All right, well,
now he's a ghost.
I guess that is it for this episode. Unless you have anything else you want to throw out there. All right. Well, once again, I've been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?